Bonjour les adorables, this is Llyane Stanfield and you can find me at learnparisianfrench.com. Today is going to be a very different kind of lesson, non-orthodox way to approach learning, and I was told that it's pretty unique. Nobody heard of this. I made it, I created it, and I want to share it with you. And this is something that a lot of people raise their brows first when they hear about it, and then it's, yeah, actually that really works. So I really want to share that with you, just so that you see how or other ways in which my coaching for French is unique. I'm gonna first though start with reminding you that tonight at 12 midnight Eastern Daylight Time, New York time, the early bird registration ends, and the huge bonus that I mentioned in the title is conversation booster of 15 Skype classes. That 20 was yesterday for the webinar, but for tonight, 15 Skype classes that will boost your conversation. Each Skype class is it's 1 hour. There are 21 more Skype classes included in the intensive program, and the early bird registration includes an additional 15. So 21 plus 15, a total of 36. Pretty nice for the intensive program. So in order for you to register, go to Learn Parisian French online.com to directly register, or if you want to ask me questions and talk about it before that, go to learnparisianfrench.com, and that's it's a little questionnaire there. Hi, that I need before we talk, and I'm looking forward to hearing from you and having you on the program. And now let's talk about the name of your brain. This approach is derived from the fact that I noticed, I study people a lot and I observe, and I noticed, me included, that we blame ourselves for our own mistakes. We feel bad when we make a mistake because we want to do better. We want to do the best that we can, and whenever we make a mistake, we beat ourselves up for it. We feel bad. A lot of people even give up altogether learning something when they see that they keep making mistakes. And I know there are those cheesy, sayings out there. They became cheesy. They have a really good content. I mean, there is a reason for which people are saying that there's no such a thing as mistakes. We should learn from mistakes. Mistakes are the way to learn, or the steps towards learning or growth. A lot of things out there that, sure, they're trying to motivate us, but how do we do this practically, in a concrete way, day to day, moment to moment? And we beat ourselves up for mistakes that are not necessarily a big thing. They could be really small things. And a lot of times we spend a lot of energy and time figuring out the reason why we made a mistake. Why did we make that mistake? How can I avoid making that mistake in the future? And that applies a lot to French language, to any learning, to anything, to life. But I literally apply it concretely with my students. And I'm going to tell you the trick now. When we train a muscle, for instance, when we want to train our bicep, or I don't know, you want to have a six-pack and you're doing a lot of abs, or it doesn't matter what, but any kind of physical exercise, we train the muscle. If we train the muscle, means that if I say I train my muscle, my bicep, let's say, me and the bicep are two different entities, right? Now, in the same way, we're saying, I train my brain. A lot of us are saying that, and you should know that we are training our brain. And every single time when we practice French, when we practice an exercise, when we practice conversation, when we practice anything, we are actually training our brain. Every single repeat creates in the brain between the neurons. The synapse is the connection between two neurons, and there is it's like a wrap of a substance that's called myelin, and every single repeat adds another layer, and another and another and another with each repeat. That means that the more wraps we have, or layers we have, the stronger the synapse, meaning this connection is going to become permanent instead of temporary. When it's a temporary connection between two neurons, this is neuroscience. Okay, I think someone messaged me. When it's connection between two neurons, and then it goes away, that is a temporary, we forget that. But the more we make that connection, the more often we make it, the more repeats we do, then that connection becomes permanent. So we don't forget anymore whatever it is that we have repeated, that same one thing. So going back to, so that's what brain does, right? Now, think about it this way. If you ask your brain to actually be, to already having a permanent connection, you're asking the impossible, right? So until the brain has enough repeats to make that particular connection strong enough to be permanent, there's no way for us to not forget it. So knowing this mechanism in the brain, then we know literally that we are different than our brain. So when I say I train my brain, that means that me and my brain are different things. Let me just close this. Someone messaged me. Me and my brain are different entities, right? So if I can train my brain, then I can dissociate from my brain. What is the advantage to doing that? The advantage to doing that is actually not taking personally the mistakes that we're making. It's so important, because when we make a mistake, it's just literally a lack of a number of repeats or of layers that happen here in the neurons, right? Blaming ourselves for it doesn't help the situation at all. Knowing though that every single time we make a mistake, it's like, oh, I see, I need more of these, then it's when I'm gonna help the situation. That is, oh, now instead of beating myself up, kicking myself in the butt, wasting the time and spending my time with why did this happen, I'm just gonna repeat a little more in the same time. So I'm just saving my time, my energy, my nerves, my frustration and everything. But knowing that we can dissociate from the brain, we can actually call the brain something, right? We can call them a name. So with the risk that I'm gonna seem or sound weird to you, but I know that, I'm telling you right now that this works and this is actually science. The name of my brain is Brenda. Now, it's just a name, it doesn't matter. But knowing that Brenda, or whatever the name of your brain is, I have one client of mine, he called his brain a Gershwin, because an American in Paris, Gershwin. Funny. And so knowing that your brain is a nagging mom, it's a survival mechanism, is always going to put in front of you the worst case scenario to save you, to pamper you, to protect you from being hurt or suffering, right? So treat your brain as you treat your loving mom, or as you treated your loving mom if you don't have your mom anymore, or if you never knew your mom. Imagine a loving mom that keeps repeating, be safe, be careful, put your sweater, put your cap, put your hat, it's cold outside, all those nice things. So your brain is only protecting you, and it's trying to protect you from yourself feeling bad about making a mistake by not doing that exercise anymore. So literally your brain protects you in the way that actually you don't practice as much, because you don't want to experience that mistake anymore. You don't want to feel bad about yourself. So see, it's a catch-22 here. But the moment when you dissociate from your brain and you just call it something, then you know that you are empowered to train your brain. And the moment your brain makes a mistake, it's just like a computer. Garbage in, garbage out, right? Exactly like a computer. If it gives you garbage, that means that it just needs a little more practice. It just needs something, and we don't know what. Sometimes we don't know what. You just have to find out what. But the thing is that you have to know that we are structurally constructed to do our absolute best. So if you made a mistake today, right now, just know that that's just your brain telling you, hey, buddy, I need to repeat a little more to give you that result. So I'm going to end it here because I have a class with Linda right now. Just reminding you again that the early bird registration ends tonight at 12 midnight Eastern Daylight Time, New York time. And please put your questions in the comments below. Looking forward to knowing what other topics you'd like me to cover. I will cover other French kind of topics, but this one, because it's so different and unique today, one of my students told me, oh my God, this is completely saving my life now. I have no problem with anything. Why would I, right? Because it's my brain that I can train. I'm in, in power. Okay, so early bird registration tonight, midnight, Eastern Daylight Time, New York time. Come on over. You have 15 additional Skype classes to master your conversation. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for everybody who commented already. I'm on the phone. I'm going to answer all the comments and questions in a minute. I'm looking forward to having you in the program. Go to learnparisianfrenchonline.com and register, and I'll see you there. Merci beaucoup. Bonne nuit. Au revoir.